honestly, a pretty common practice in the industry in general is if there's a piece that you don't like, just get rid of it. We won't be able to, no one will be able to tell. It's better than like, banging your head against the wall trying to get one thing to work properly. In this case, I don't like this piece and I don't like this piece. So what I can do is I'll just go over to the output land and we'll just say, we'll be able to basically select those pieces by name. I'm not sure what this is doing right now. Select those pieces by name, and actually even better, let's cache this real quick just so we don't lose it. So it's already been simmed, so that's why it's just going to run through it. We have the blue bar of cache here still. It actually hasn't even saved them all yet. It was able to. It's almost as if it simulated faster than it was able to save the frames to the disk, which isn't technically true, but anyway, we can select those pieces by name and delete them. And then essentially every frame that we process through the output node here, it'll just delete that and we just won't see it. And even better than that, we'll just switch that on. There we go. We'll just switch it on at which point the helicopter crashes, just in case we might have seen it. So what do I mean by that? Let's just do it. We could do it here. So I'm going to put a delete here because I know it's not these guys. It's on this stream, meaning the non-deformable stuff. I'll say select. Yes, that's a gotcha. So when we did the select thing, it actually goes to the node previous to it, but that node shows us the left stream. So let's put this here. Yep, just temporarily. So delete, select, and we'll want to select by name just in case it's. We can select by path. That's fine too. So those are the ones that I want to delete. Press enter. So now they're being deleted specifically by their names. So they'll always be deleted. And maybe in a subsequent sim, if I ran another sim, I would be like, oh, it's actually better to delete stuff. And then we can turn this off, of course. And let's just say cull. That was like the cockpit control panel and something else. I don't even know what the other thing was. And we'll just say after which point it hits the ground. And I'll switch this here. At some frame, switch over. So when is it that we should delete that? Let's delete it. Usually we find like a chaotic moment that you wouldn't notice it disappearing all of a sudden. So here would be a good place. So we go from it existing in the 0th input, alt click, to it not existing in the 1th input, alt left click. So all of a sudden it disappears. And of course, with everything else on, there's no way you're going to know. And now our sim will just look more aesthetically pleasing by not having it there. So, by the end of the thing here, we don't have that weird chunk of metal. Now, obviously, it's still affecting the sim and everything else, so you can't go crazy with that, with those kinds of tweaks. But for little things like that, it works pretty great. So here we go, and there we go. Cool. So now let's just make one more of these play blasts, and I think we'll be ready to sim, or to render rather. So as I'm waiting for this to run, I noticed down here in the helper bar, it looks like it's running our brake operations over and over again, which is definitely not something that I want it to do. So I'm just going to cancel this now. Close this out. And so if I ever see stuff like that happen, you can force it to not do stuff like that. And in particular, this whole chunk here only needs to happen one time. And what do I mean by that? We don't need to do it per frame. This is static. This should be static, but it looks like it's doing something when I scroll around. At least it did that one time. And then when I looked at the get fracture deformable, same thing here. It should only be doing this one time as well. So just to make sure that that's the case, I'm going to put a time shift here. This binding operation where it bound the one-time fracture to the, original pieces, I'm going to put this here and just say, hey, you do this on frame 1 and that's it. And now it'll force it to never do that again. This thing on the right here, however, obviously it does need to do this every time because this is the sim frame. It's got to obviously recalculate that sim frame to see where it moves the stuff to. So anyway, let's, now that we've done that, it shouldn't be doing that extra work. And so I'm just going to watch here. Also, it looks like it's just play blasting or flip booking or whatever you want to call it much faster. See how it's not doing that extra work now? Awesome. So I'm going to pause it and we'll see in a second. Okay, so this is what we got. Everything's great. We got some more twisted metal in the mix here. We've got a big pile of glass that comes to a stop. We've still got our wheels rolling away, which I'm happy to see. I also like that the glass is in this dense pile. And we've got these cool other rolling things. We just got lots of different stuff going on. There's like the mangled bits of those tanks, those auxiliary fuel tanks and such. Pretty cool. So this is it. This is going to be our sim. Now let's go render it.